Welcome to another ABS online video. Let's go and find out what we're going to learn today. Hello again, everyone. It's Explosive Week 10. It's the big one this week. Do you remember which natural disaster we will look at? Well, I've already given you a few clues. It's explosive. Do you remember? It's explosive. Bang, boom. It's the disaster we all think is the worst. Sometimes, though, you look at things and you think, wow, that is so bad. But we're going to look a little bit closer. It's the volcano. We've all seen volcanoes and what they do. They look really wow. This is a good question. Worse than the others we have looked at? Well, when you look at the pictures, they do look very bad. They look really scary. There's lots of fire and explosions. They do look worse. What were they? What were the other natural disasters we have looked at? This is natural disaster number 3. The first one was earthquakes. And the next one was typhoons. But do you remember, typhoons is just one of the words we can use to describe very, very strong winds. What were the others? We had typhoons. We had cyclones. We had hurricane. And the last word was whirlwind. But they're all the same. Just very, very, very strong winds. So, earthquakes and super strong winds. Which one's worse? Do you think volcanoes are worse? Well, this is interesting. Volcanoes are spectacular, but usually not as deadly. Well, that's interesting. Now again, we've got lots and lots and lots of adverbs. And the adverbs mean that you can put some emotion into your speaking and into your reading. So here we've got usually, and we've also got deadly. I think we've seen deadly before. All of the natural disasters can be deadly. So you look out for more and more and more adverbs. I think we've already seen more than 50. What a great job. What is a volcano? Well, we must already know that. We know what a volcano is. Well, let's look a bit closer. Liquid rock called magma creeps up from the Earth's core. There's a great picture. Can you imagine how hot it must be if the rock turns to liquid? Whew. This creates bubbles of gas, which causes abnormally high pressure. Let's look at that word, abnormally. Well, normal means ordinary, usual. Abnormal means not usual, unusual. So here, the bubbles of gas cause really unusually high pressure. If you get a lot of pressure, that's going to lead to bad things. Things that go bang. If the pressure builds up, the mountain can powerfully explode. So this magma coming up through the earth causes really high pressure, and that is what can make the mountain explode. Now, if a mountain explodes, it's not just going to go pop. It's going to be a very powerful explosion. Do they all explode? Well, sort of two kinds of volcanoes, I guess. If the magma is thin, the gas escapes easily. No pressure, no explosion. So we need this gas to slowly escape, and then the volcano is much safer. If the magma is sticky, explosions are likely. So, what we want is thin, runny magma. If the magma is thick and sticky like toffee, or maybe ice cream just out of the freezer, that's not good. That's not good. That's going to keep the gas in. The pressure will build up, and then boom. Now, this leads to landslides and ash clouds, which fatally affect a large area. Another good adverb there. Fatal means something that will kill you. If something is fatal, it will kill you. So, these landslides and ash clouds fatally affect a very large area. It could be hundreds of square kilometres. How deadly are volcanoes? Well, it all sounds very, very bad so far, doesn't it? Very bad. Volcanologists study volcanoes. What a great name. Can you see at the end of that word, volcanologists? We've got IST. If you see that, that means it's a job. Okay? The person that does the job is a volcanologist. Sort of like a dentist. So, volcanologist is the person that studies volcanoes. That does not look like a very nice classroom. Right next to a volcano. No, thank you. The mountains faintly rumble, and this clearly indicates that trouble is on the way. Changes in gas coming out of the ground is also used to correctly predict eruptions. So the volcanologist will listen to very quiet rumbles coming from deep below the volcano. And then the gas that comes out of the mountain can give the volcanologist a really, really good idea about what is happening deep underground. Animals know. What? Are volcanologists animals or something? How can animals know? Bizarrely, animals in the area will often become agitated. That means the animals will get scared or excited, and quite often they'll try and run away. The birds will just fly away. How does that happen? How do they know? Bizarrely. Bizarre. That's another word for strange. Something we can't really explain. Cleverly, they enthusiastically get right out of the way. That will just disappear, run away, fly away, get right out of the way. Well done. Maybe we should watch the animals a little bit more closely. So, how deadly are they? Well, we know they're really explosive. We know the animals don't like them. So I'm guessing they must be really, really deadly. There are about 1,500 active volcanoes in the world. Now, active means that they are making these strange noises, and we can smell the gas coming out of the mountain. So something is certainly happening under the mountain. They are active volcanoes. How often do you hear about a deadly eruption? Can you think? When was the last time you saw a volcano on the TV? In the news? I can't remember actually. Rarely. But when they are bad, They are really bad. Okay, well, that sounds quite good. 1,500 active volcanoes, but a big eruption rarely happens. So it doesn't sound like a very, very dangerous situation. How bad? Well, they rarely happen, but when they do, they're bad. The worst occurred 200 years ago in Indonesia. It fatally affected 92,000 people. Wow. Okay. Now that is terrible. That really is terrible. 92,000 people. You just think, how many people live in your town? How many people go to your school? There are about 1,000 people that come to my school. And it seems like a lot of people. But can you imagine 92 schools and everyone is killed by the volcanic eruption? That is terrible. So when they do happen, they are bad. Now this volcano 200 years ago in Indonesia, it sent so much ash up into the atmosphere that it devastatingly cooled the whole world for a full year. Wow! One volcano affected the weather in the whole world for a whole year. Wow. Now that's because all of this ash goes up into the sky and it sort of blocks out the sun. Less sun gets through, and so it makes the earth a little bit cooler. Now, maybe on a hot summer's day, you might want a cooler day, but not for a whole year. More problems? I guess there are. The ash causes long-term problems. We can move away from the erupting volcano, but annoyingly, people want to move back. They see it as their home. I guess everyone wants to go back to their home, wherever it is. The ash can cover large areas, making farming virtually impossible. And this ash, of course, stays there for many, many, many years. The most famous. Well, this is maybe Mount Vesuvius. Good name, isn't it? Mount Vesuvius. And there's a picture of it, and it doesn't look very dangerous now. Can you see that big hole in the top? Well, That's where the mountain just exploded, and the top of the mountain just blew off. This is a long time ago. 2,000 years ago, the stunningly beautiful city of Pompeii sat on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius. It was actually just a few kilometers away from the bottom of the mountain. The people in the city of Pompeii always looked at the mountain and thought it was a very beautiful, special place. Within a day, the city was gone. Wow. That's very impressive. What happened? On the morning of the 24th of August, 79 AD, a few earth tremors were felt. By early afternoon, ash was unnervingly falling on the city. By late afternoon, the ash was fiery hot and buildings were starting to burn. Goodness me, this must have been a terrifying place to be on that one day. What happened? Before sunset, the whole city was ablaze, and all the buildings were thickly covered. Very few people were able to escape this deadly ash. Finally came the eruption, and massive amounts of very hot ash and rock permanently removed the city from the map. The city was completely buried. Now, you can go and visit Pompeii. It's a tourist attraction. What can you see? Well, the people were covered so quickly that many were preserved in rock. Look at those people there. That's a 2,000-year-old family that were covered in ash so quickly they just couldn't get away. We can now visit the site and barely imagine what it was like on that day 2,000 years ago. Tread carefully. Vesuvius is still active. That means it still rumbles just a little. Even more devastating, Krakatoa in Indonesia in 1883. This eruption was different in many ways. Firstly, tremors had been distinctly felt for several years before the eruption. Years. Several years. Wow, I think I would have run away after the first one. Then, for 3 months, ash and steam had been shooting forth into the air. Now, Krakatoa was an island, so it was surrounded by water. So you get lots of steam, boiling water. Now that's very, very dangerous. Not a surprise then. No. The volcano had been very active for years and very, very active for months. The eruptions of ash had been clearly heard 200 kilometers away. Oh, wow. Then, on the 26th of August, there were 4 massive eruptions. These sent ash and rocks 20 kilometers up into the air. The sound could be heard incredibly over 4,000 kilometers away. Wow! Can you imagine what it must have sounded like if you were close to the volcano? What effect did it have? The immediate effect was a tsunami that rapidly travelled as far as South Africa. That's almost on the other side of the world. At least 36,000 people died. We're looking at some big numbers here, aren't we? These events are many, many, many years apart, but they are really deadly when they do happen. 70% of the island disappeared. One big eruption just destroyed 70% of the island. What's the long-term effect? Well, the huge amount of ash and sulfur dioxide that went into the atmosphere gradually disrupted the weather around the world for 5 years. Wow! Now, lots of scientists are always talking about climate change, which happens very slowly. But these big volcanoes have this big effect very quickly. Sulfur dioxide. Now that's the gas that comes out of the volcano. It's very stinky. It smells like rotten eggs. Really horrible. And the volcanoes will put a lot of this horrible gas up into the atmosphere. It's still happening. Krakatoa erupted again in 2018 and 2020. So, 70% of the island had gone. But that still leaves 30% there. And it's still erupting. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Keep away. It's not all bad. Volcanoes actually do a lot of good. Oh, well, that's almost difficult to believe. The ash is very rich in nutrients, so it makes fantastic soil. Of course, we do have to wait a long time, but the soil is just great for growing anything. Also, growing land. Where lava comes out slowly, it creates new land. Sometimes the lava just creeps out of the mountain, and it just makes more land. Islands grow into beautiful places with rich environments. I guess we have to take the bad with the good. Have you ever heard of some islands called Hawaii? They're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and they are volcanic islands, and they're still growing because the lava is coming out very slowly. Any more disasters? We have just one more disaster to look at. It happens annually and causes immense damage. Try to guess what it is before we meet again. Well, guys, volcanoes. Very, very scary. But thankfully, they rarely happen. Now, don't forget, we've had lots of adverbs again. If any of them are new words for you, see if you can try and find out what they mean and try and use them. It's time to say goodbye. Have a good week until we see you again. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching our video today. Please don't forget, subscribe, and that will help us to make lots more videos for you. Thank you. Bye.